Think we are live. It looks as though my icons say that I'm live. Uh, Once again, having some slow internet issues. I don't know what that's all about, but we will work through it as much as we can. We're going through on a Wednesday night. This is the first time I've done an evening video. So if anybody can hear me, see me out there, I'm still not even, it doesn't even look like my chat or anything's working yet. So I don't even know if it's going through. So we may restart here in just a second. Looks like things are starting to come through a little bit now. So if I could, anybody that is out there watching, just so I can get an idea on my video or audio sound and all that kind of stuff, if you could give me a thumbs up, let me know that you can hear, because I've had some issues with all my technology from the video part of it to the audio part. So those of you guys that are watching, if I could get an idea, thumbs up that you can hear me, I would greatly appreciate that. I do see a number of people with my on the icon up there, but I just would like I can hear and see. Very good. Michelle, oh my gosh. So that would be the Canadian version of hello. Hey Pip, I like that. Beautiful. I hear you. Awesome. My wife says she can hear me, so that's good. And so we're good to go. We're ready to rock and roll tonight. And I had some people tell me that since I was going to do an evening um, session tonight, they said to me, well, maybe I'll get a cocktail and I will watch the broadcast or the Facebook Live. I don't know if it's called a broadcast or not, but that's what I'll call it. And so, what's interesting, oh, Hadley, all the way from New Zealand. That is awesome. And so, obviously, if you can hear me loud and clear from New Zealand, I hope the Canadians and the Americans can hear me as well. I don't think I'll get too many of the European group tonight because it's midnight or so there. So, this should be better for my Australian and New Zealand and Southeast Asia group that I have, which is beautiful because I can't believe I know people from all over the place like that. So that's good always. But my Canadian should be fine because it's evening there for you guys, depending on where you're at in Canada. So I'm glad that I got all kinds of different time zones that we're working on here. And my wife always puts together the video, meaning she puts up what is going to be done that day. And I can't even remember what she called it. She had a different name for this one this week or for today, and I'm not exactly sure what she called it. Maybe what was it? A little bit something Wild Card Wednesday, I think is what she had on there. And so this is definitely going to be Wild Card Wednesday. Um, and so to everybody that has said hello, I'll say hello again. My mother-in-law is on here, so that's cool. Peter, good to see you again as always. And it's always cool to see different people. Steve Hipple, I see you all the time. I'm not sure that's cool or not, but I'm glad you're here, Steve. But Wild Card Wednesday, I'm going to do something a little different tonight, but I'm also going to announce again um, that on Friday of this week, I'm going to be on a webinar podcast type of thing with Lemore Markman and Elizabeth Kelly. So if you go on to my whatever you want to call it, you're on the big screen today. Well, I don't think putting me on a big screen is good. Actually, I look better on a phone. The smaller the picture, the better, Brandy. The funny thing about it, Brandy sent me one of the coolest testimonials I've had, and it was awesome. And I totally appreciate it, Brandy. That was great. And so, and that's actually what I'm going to talk about tonight is a little bit about feedback and things like that, because I think why we do anything in life is to get some sort of satisfaction out of it. When you have a spouse, a significant other, when you go to church, when you go eat, when you have kids, they bring you satisfaction, whatever that is in your life. And so I always get asked why I keep doing what I do and why do I want to keep pushing it? Because it's the satisfaction that it gives me. I love it. And so I think I got halfway through and then I saw Brandy put me on the big screen and I was a little scared. So Friday, Lemore Markman, Elizabeth Kelly at noon Eastern Standard Time, 11 Central Time, whatever that is, all across the world. I don't even know. It'll probably be real early in the morning in Auckland, New Zealand, but I am going to be on their podcast webinar. And these two are very good friends of mine. Lemore was one of my students years ago, 2013, I believe. And she came up to me at the end of the day on Sunday. I used to do 3-day real estate seminars. And she came up to me at the end of the day on Sunday. She says, Pip, I'm going to do what you do. I'm going to do exactly what you do, which is train real estate investors. And she does it now. And so good for her. That's awesome. Elizabeth, she came through the same type of program that I did up in Canada. I was in the US a little bit later than me. And Elizabeth doesn't even know this. But anytime you do something, first of all, that is a high ticket item, if you sell something that's expensive, there's a lot of people that want to knock you down, whatever it is. Brandy, on her testimonial, she was funny. She made a comment that she spent money that she didn't really even have, but it ended up being a great decision. And I think she even used an acronym. If I can remember it, Brandy, I'll do my best. I pitched you, I inspired you, and then I promised. And I promised that I'd be there to answer your questions. And so that was the acronym she used for PIP. I know Allison Corey had another acronym for PIP. Masukas had different acronyms for me. I don't know what the best acronym is. It doesn't really matter. I just really find it cool to be able to see some of you guys that I haven't seen in years and reconnect. And so I obviously COVID and the shutdown and all that kind of stuff has been crappy. But what's cool for me, Core, great to see you. That's what's cool for me is Core, where are you at in the world? I can't remember. And maybe you're in a different time zone. That's why it's the first time I see you live. Very cool. Brandy, I got it. That's awesome. Anyway, I should probably play Brandy's um, testimonial because it was funny. She made some comment about being a good-looking Canadian, and even though it was still warm in the world, most of the world, she was wearing her big heavy sweater. Brandy, I can't say anything because I'm wearing a hoodie 99% of the time, and it was 90 degrees here today where I live. But I'm still a hoodie kind of guy. I like the hoodies; they're comfortable. Gives me a place to put my hands, so maybe can hide a little bit of the excess waste that I have. And so the cool thing for me, Woodstock, Ontario. Oh, very cool. And so been to Woodstock before, or that area, driven through it. Anyway, so it's really cool to me for me to reconnect with people again. And so I'm glad you're on, and I'm glad you're giving me comments and feedback. I'm going to say this again, share this with other people. I've also got it on. If you haven't had a chance, and I know it's shameless advertising, but if I'm going to be on here doing this, I'm going to create content, but I'm also going to shamelessly promote everything that I do because we're talking about sales. And so I have no problem telling you that I'm in sales. I have no problem telling you to go to my Facebook page and like it. Go on to the YouTube channel and subscribe because I guess all that makes a difference. I did my working on a new website for Burbank, and it's not done yet. So don't think you can even go on there yet. But my business partners told me had to start blogging. I've never blogged in my life. I didn't even know. I've never done a blog, but I did a blog, and it's one of the first blogs on our website. So Baz, good to see you, my friend. I just got off the phone 2 minutes ago. In fact, wasn't even 2 minutes before. Thank you so much. It wasn't even 2 minutes before I started the Facebook Live. I was talking to Baz. So just to be able to reconnect with so many people has been very inspiring to me. And so I want to continue to do this and keep building stuff. And it's whether it's content related or whatever, just to be able to reconnect and have stuff out there. That to me is pretty cool. So, what am I going to talk about tonight? And so, what did my wife call this? Wild Card Wednesday. And so I don't have a specific topic, but we've been talking about sales. We've been talking about NLP. We've been talking about support and follow up. And the cool thing about it is with Brandy on here, I sent an email out to people like Brandy and to Paul Basser that you see on there. And I said, hey guys, I'm looking at doing some sales training. You were people that I worked with or people that were students of mine. Would you be interested in sending me some testimonials? So because I always think the best way to sell something is to have a satisfied customer say, hey, Pip was there. Pip did this for me. He helped me to get me to where I needed to do to be able to make the right decision. And so that to me is cool. And if you guys were on the call, and I think it was Monday was the last time, maybe it was yesterday. I don't even remember what day it was. And Hadley knows this person. This lady's name is Carol, and she's from somewhere in New Zealand. And we were talking about support, and Carol made some comment about making a bunch of money on a property, and we were talking about giving out money. We were talking about making people take action and things like that. Because if you don't take action, nothing changes. And so Carol had said something on there, and it was a very nice comment that she did this and she ended up making a bunch of money on this property deal. See, sometimes you got to put out to get something to come back to you, those kinds of things. It's not always easy. So, what I did, and I'm going to do this, and I don't know if I'm doing it for me, if I'm doing it for you guys. I'm definitely doing it for the people that sent me these. I've got literally, I'm blessed, tons and tons of people that have emailed me stuff and said things. And I guess this is what it's all about, is just having the sales and the service and being there to help and impact people. And so I can give you all kinds of different things here, but I'm going to read a couple of these because for me, do I know the last person on there? It's got to be related to Peter, because that last name is not familiar, is not that is an unusual last name. So Johnsky, I'm not sure if I met you or if you're related to Peter, or Peter just told you need to get on these lives. So Johnsky, if I know you, I apologize for not remembering you, but I think I would remember that name. So great to have you if you're a new person on here today. Like I said, tell everybody you know about these, share these videos. I'm going to say this now, and I'll say it again before I get done. My wife brought me a drink, so I'm going to take a drink real quick. So on October 23rd, 24th, 25th, I'm going to be doing a 3-day sales training. And many of you could have gotten an email about it. So if you didn't get any email on this, check your junk folder or spam folder, whatever it's called, because I know some of those are going to the spam filters. I've seen that because some of you guys I haven't emailed in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. A lot of you guys are awesome. I thought I might have met him, but I couldn't remember for sure. Thanks, Peter, for bringing him on. That's great. And so, what I want to do is I'm also going to put a post on Facebook. And if you're just my Facebook friend and you're not on my email list, if you want more information about it, when I put the post on there, if you could just either private message me and say, hey, I'm looking for more information, and I'll get your email address and send you everything on it. But that's going to be coming up here basically in 2 weeks, October 23rd, 24th, 25th. A lot of great information. Just, and it's a sales training. There's a cost for the 3 days. It's $100 for 3 days, but it's a 100% money back guarantee. If you don't like what you hear after the 3 days, you get your money back. I always feel that the best thing you can do is put your money where your mouth is. If somebody doesn't like what you have or don't feel that they were satisfied with it, then you get your money back, kind of thing. I think it'll be well more worth the value, because there's going to be a ton of information over those 3 days. So what I'd like to share with you, and like I said, I can't tell you if this is as much for you or me or the people that wrote some of these, but this just kind of gives you an idea of why I do what I do. And so when my wife called it Wild Card Wednesday, here's the wild card. So I'm just going to read a few of the testimonials. They're really cool for me, and they were cool for the people that sat in the seats as well. So this one says, I met Pip in May of 2018. Pip is a unique, refreshing, and rare combination of the best trainers out there. I've taken dozens of trainings, and his trainings are one of the most impactful and memorable. Specifically, he has the ability to quickly be relatable, share mind-blowing insights and advice in a witty way, and also show that he cares so much about each of his students. I don't know exactly how many people he has trained, but I imagine in the thousands. I was always so impressed with his ability to remember each person. He helps people learn in many different ways. Doesn't matter if you are a visual, auditory, experiential, or written kind of learner. He can cover it all in a very memorable way, so you can truly learn from his vast experience and retain, so you can use it immediately. It is so obvious he cares about each person he trains. He responds so quickly, usually within 24 hours of sending an email. He speaks from a place of authority, but also cares deeply to master his training skills. He uses simple examples to bring to life the concepts he trains. The trainings he gave were all day over many days, but I left them feeling more energized, excited, engaged, and knowledgeable. In conclusion, I recommend his trainings highly. And this blows me away when I hear this, because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I didn't go to a prestigious university. Here's what she says. In conclusion, I recommend his trainings highly. I've attended 3 different Ivy League schools and wish that I had met Pip earlier so I could have benefited sooner from his trainings. Linda from Florida. And so when I met Linda, and I don't remember the schools, but she does have a law degree from, I believe, Columbia, a master's degree from another Ivy League school, and an undergraduate from a different Ivy League school. So the level of education that she has is unparalleled. You can't, I mean, a lot of money that goes into that, a lot of time, a lot of effort. So just to hear people say things like that totally just makes my day. And so um, there's a lot of things that I like to do. And many of you know I did stand up comedy for a while. And so the next guy that I'm going to read from, met him January of 2018. It was a weekend that I will never forget. He's a natural comedian and has a gift of making people laugh. He won me over with his wit and charm. What I love about Pip is that he is so incredibly hilarious while being very real. He can make the room like him in the first 2 minutes. And if you don't like him in the first 2 minutes, he'll win you over in the next 30. And if you don't like him in the next 30, you'll see yourself falling in love with him in the next 24 hours. And if you still don't like him after one day, then you're a dead inside, and I wouldn't want to have anything to do with you. People make fun of things, and that to me is truly funny when he said that. This guy said, working in television for 16 years, I've seen many performers. But Pippi, he's special. His presentation doesn't feel like a presentation because he wasn't acting, he was being. Since he is such a genuinely gifted showman, he is able to do something magical on stage. I respect that he's so exposed, open, brutally honest, charismatic, and with all the experience, he brings an ocean of advice and golden nuggets to his students that will live in us forever. Here's a way to him up in my eyes. He's one of the best salesmen I have ever met, and here's why: he doesn't sell. He's so filled with genuine truth and knowledge that people buy whatever it is he believes in. If it makes good sense to Pip, it will add value to my life. What I also love is that after you commit to Pip, he commits to you a stronger way. He doesn't need to continue spending time with the students after his course. I can't imagine an unsatisfied customer. The value is much there after you buy, but that isn't good enough for Pip. He goes a little farther for all his students. I've been reaching out to him for guidance and mentorship ever since I met him. He's never charged me an extra for any extra. He's never charged me for his extra time. He's been overly generous, overly generous, and I know I'm not the only one. The one thing I can say I know is that the truly successful people value one thing above all: service. Pip knows his words well. I have many businesses, and I know one thing can be true. If you have a chance to work with Pip in any capacity, jump into it as soon as you can. When I get those kinds of things, oh my gosh, I'm reading another one here. I'm going to get to Carolina in just a second. And so when you hear those kinds of things, it totally makes you realize what you're doing makes a difference in people's lives. So Carolina, I met you in Naples. Okay. In general or specific niche. Well, I can tell you, Carolina, it can be whatever you want it to be on the sales. And so I think what we're looking at with the sales training is we're going to break it down no matter what your sales is. If you're a realtor, if you're and I know if you haven't been on these, Carolina, then obviously you haven't heard them. I believe that we're all in sales. So if a pastor came into this class, he or she is going to learn how to be a better pastor. If a father came in for this class, I would say he or she, a father would be, he would be a better dad. If a mother came in, they would be a better mom. If you're a spouse, you're going to be a better spouse because everything we do in life is based on sales. I don't care what it is. And so the one thing that I hope to get across, and this is where I was going the last time I did my Facebook Live, I've done real estate training and I've been in real estate investing since 2002. I've been an investor since 2002 and trained people since 2005, both one on one and in big groups. And Carolina, I'm going to say this to you, and I can say this to Peter. I know Peter really loves real estate because we've had that discussion. Real estate never gave me that, I don't know what you want to call it, that, oh, it's the best thing ever. It was a means to an end. I still invest in real estate. I will invest in real estate the rest of my life. But the real estate wasn't the fun part for me. The fun part for me, Carolina, was to actually talk to people, work with people. And the sales side of it, I realized as I started to teach more, to sell more, that that is what I enjoyed the most, because I don't think it's a leap for people to realize that real estate is a good investment. Now, there's a lot of intricacies with real estate. There's a lot of very creative strategies with real estate, but I don't think there's a big sales job to go along with telling people, hey, real estate's a good investment. You should try to figure out how to get into it. Now, what I've been very blessed to do is learn how to do it with as little of my own money and as little as of my own credit as possible. So when you can do that, you can invest at a much higher level and you can solve even bigger problems. But when it comes to sales, I think people, and I don't know if I'll use the right terminology, they pigeonhole a lot of things. Oh, you're in sales. And a lot of times their nose curls up and they're like, oh, they look down at you. And I hate even using this term because I think it's so wrong. The old term of the used car salesman, because used car salesmen are just trying to make a living. They're just trying to feed their family. So as long as they're doing it with the right intention, integrity, and support. I'm going to go back to not even the used car salesman. Let's go to a mechanic. I know nothing about cars. And anybody on there that knows me, they know I know nothing about cars. I can put gas in it, I can start it, and if it doesn't work, then I got to call somebody. I know nothing about cars. Matt, I hope you got a drink in your hand. And so I know nothing about cars. But a lot of times you'll take a car into the car dealership or to the mechanic, and they come back and it's like, oh, you thought it was going to be this, and it's another 3, 4, 500 bucks. And you get, we've all been there myself. You get a little bit upset. You're like, oh, he's trying to get me for something, or they're trying to just get me out my extra money. I've never seen too many mechanics that are just, have so much money they don't know what to do with it. They do the best they possibly can. Charlie, how are you, my friend? They do the best they possibly can, and they're just trying to make a living. And so I never understood that. You just don't see a lot of rich mechanics, but there's this mentality, oh, they're just trying to sell me more. And so I think that's a sad thing if that's how you feel, because I truly believe the reason we think people are screwing us over is because maybe deep down inside we're screwing somebody else over. That's my personal belief. So I innately trust people probably way too much because I just assume the best out of people. I just assume if Matt says, hey, he's going to do something at 6 o'clock on Tuesday night, then he's going to do something for me at 6 o'clock on Tuesday night, or he's going to call me and tell me, hey, Pip, I'm busy. Can we change the time? So I never really feel like people are trying to screw me over. And I think that makes life a lot easier. But I'm going to go back to what Carolina was asking about the sales training. Carolina, the sales training, I think it's for everybody, because when we really talk about sales, everything we do is based on sales. And you may be the customer. I used to travel all around the world, and I'd have Uber drivers and I'd go to hotels and restaurants, and I was the customer. But the way you treat other people, they want to treat you better. And so I always felt I was in sales. So when I would walk up, I'll give you an example. Went to Chick-fil-A today to get a sandwich for breakfast, a breakfast sandwich at Chick-fil-A. And go to Chick-fil-A, they got, at least in the warmer areas, they've got the people outside because they're so busy taking orders before you even get up to the drive-through. I rolled down my window. The lady's there with her little computer thing, and she says, how are you this morning? I said, amazing. Totally changed the conversation. She immediately said, that's the first time I've ever heard that like that. And her demeanor totally changed. I could hear her talking to the customer ahead of me because I had my window down, and you could hear it because it was just right in front of me. And her interaction with the customer ahead of me was not nearly as friendly until I started it. So you've got to be the instigator, not aggressor, the instigator. And I said this the other day when we were talking about sales, as long as you smile, that's going to come back to you. And you can't say something with a smile on your face without it coming through nicely. So when I said amazing, she immediately, her whole demeanor changed. So I consider Carolina that being in sales, and I was the customer. So I have figured out that what I really, I think I just figured out in the last 6 months what I really want to do with my life, Carolina. It's not as much, and I'm going to still teach real estate training. Don't get me wrong, because that's what I do. going to still do real estate investing. But what I really want to do, Carolina, is I want to teach people how to do a better job of just being in sales with every relationship, with every interaction that they have. Uh, Carolina, just do me a favor just private message me. You're obviously a friend of mine on Facebook. Just private message me. I'll send you. I want to send it to you in an email rather than going through it for everybody right now. I'll just send you everything in an email and we'll get you going on that. Then you can just make whatever decision you want. And so I'll definitely do that. So just put on a private message on my, is that what it's called? Private. I am so bad with all the technology terminologies. Is probably what I should say. So private message me, Carolina, and I'll send you all that stuff so you have everything. But yeah, it's just a matter of understanding that we're always selling, and don't be scared of that word. It's okay. I mean, if you want to call it, transfer of information, because that's really what we're doing. Every teacher you've ever had, every parent, every coach is selling you on an idea. I'm a big sports fan, love sports. And some of the best coaches you ever have, some of the best coaches you ever had were the best salespeople you ever had. Now, I doubt he's on here, but I'm going to do a shout out to, he's a good friend of mine. He sang at my wife and my wedding. We sang in a band together or played in a band. He sang, I played the drums for 30 years. His name's Tom Farrell. When you're talking to a bunch of seventh and eighth grade boys, if you really think seventh and eighth grade boys, when their voices are changing, that they want to be in a choir, I think you're probably crazy. I didn't want to be in a choir at seventh and eighth grade because, and it's sad, but that's just what happens. Is the boys that are in the choir, maybe the other boys think they're kind of and I don't know how to use a better word than sissy, but that's the word I'm going to use. But Tom Farrell, he was Mr. Farrell at the time, was such a good teacher and a good salesman. He got a bunch of junior high boys, to be middle school now, but junior high boys to be excited about choir. And I got excited about choir, and I enjoyed choir for the next 5 years of my life, seventh grade to 12th grade. I ended up singing in a band, playing in a band with Tom. And it wasn't anything other than he was a good salesman. And that's really what it came down to. But he was a choir teacher. He was a choir teacher. Now, I could say the same thing about some of my coaches. One of my high school football coach passed away in a freak accident. And some of you guys from Nebraska City know exactly what I'm talking about. Al Schnitzer. Was wrestling coach, football coach. I really liked Al. Great guy. But he was good at selling people on helping kids be better at what they wanted to do. I'll never forget my sophomore year, 10th grade year, for the people that don't know what sophomores are. My 10th grade year, I know my mom and dad's house had a fire. And for those of you guys that my mom and dad aren't there, my mom and dad both passed away. But yeah, I got all kinds of information, Christy, on the fire. My brother Jim was over there with photos and live feed and all that kind of stuff. So why won't you sing to us? Well, it's almost Christmas time, so Christmas shoes will be coming soon, okay? And so, Christy, you're going to kill me on this. But anyway, what was I talking about? You really got me off topic. Now you got to get me back on topic, Christy, because I'm like a squirrel, or I'm like a dog chasing squirrels. How about that? What was I? Oh, Al Schnitzer. And so I'll never forget. This is, if you go back to 1980s high school football in Nebraska, and I know some of you guys are going, where is he going with this? I'm trying to explain to you everything in life is sales. My high school football coach was a great salesperson. So my junior year of high school, my sophomore year, we had a different coach. Nothing against that guy, but he ran a very similar offense to what the Nebraska Cornhuskers did. A lot of times, whatever the major university is in a state, a lot of the high schools will run a similar offense. Why? Because they're trying to get kids to go to those colleges and stuff. So that's very common. Well, this is 1985. And my junior year, Coach Schnitzer comes up to us and he basically says, he's the new coach. He says, guys, we don't have a lot of size. We've got some speed, but we have no size. And it's really hard to run the football up the middle when you don't have any size. He said, we got some kids that got some good hands. We got a good quarterback that can throw the ball. He said, we're going to have some fun and we're going to air it out. This was long before this was popular. In the mid 1980s, we were throwing the ball 30 and 40 times a game. What did he do? He sold us on a whole new way of playing football. But that's a sales job, is what that is. And so And I'll come back to Carolina. Everything we do is sales because it doesn't matter what it is. So if I can do anything with these videos, for those you guys that are going to have the opportunity to be on that 3 day, what's so cool about it is you're going to see that I'm very passionate about sales, but not the way that people would say it. Oh, here's the benefits and here's the features. I'm always one of the things, and I was just talking to Paul Bazzer about this, and Matt, you'll appreciate this. I was talking to Baz about this right before we got on this call tonight or on this Facebook Live, and there's a thing out there. If you're going to get a sales job, if you're being interviewed, a lot of times the interviewer will ask the interviewee, "Hey, sell me this pen." And so if somebody asked me to sell them this pen, I would immediately say, "Well, do you need a pen?" And if you don't need a pen, Christy, I'm going to say, "Well, if you ever do need a pen, give me a call." See, I think it's wrong to try to sell somebody something they don't want. Why would you ever do that? If somebody comes to a car dealership, they want a car. If somebody comes to a jewelry store, they want some type of jewelry. If they don't come to your store, if they don't come to your place of business, they don't go to your seminar, they don't call you, they don't want your product. And that's tough. I get that. But if instead of sell me the pen, well, do you need a pen? Because what do most people do? They lead with features and benefits. So, Christy, the average salesperson would take this pen and go, "Well, Christy, this pen, it's got a great grip. It's a nice pen. It's kind of heavy. It's got a great grip. If there's a place here where you can push on it, it's really soft, so it's easy to get the pen back and forth. If the ink doesn't smear, especially if you're a lefty, it's not going to smear when you run your hand through it." So that's what most salespeople do is they lead with features and benefits. I would ask you, Christy, do you want a pen? And Christy say, "Well, maybe not right now." Christy, if you ever do want a pen, what are some things that you want in a pen? She says, "Well, I like a pen that's really light." So what am I doing? Right behind me again, the 3 L's: listen, lead, and link. I'm going to ask her what she wants. I'm not going to say, "These are the features of my pen." "Christy, what do you like in a pen?" And she says, "Well, I like a pen that's really light because if it's a heavy pen, it makes it, I don't like writing with it." And she may say, "Well, Christy, is there any type of ink that you like?" She says, "I like all kinds of different colors. I've got this personality where sometimes I like a green pen, sometimes I like a pink pen, sometimes I like a yellow pen." "Well, Christy, I think that's a little crazy." And I wouldn't say that, but I know Christy, so I can say that. The point is, I'm going to ask her what she wants because I'm not selling her anything. What I'm doing is I'm getting information so that if she ever wants to buy anything, guess what? I'm the person that I have that information because I've listened. I can then lead with whatever features that she wants and then link it up to the purchase. We need customers forever. We don't just need customers for today. So this is why, and I literally, I didn't know what I was going to do tonight on this, but what's really cool for me is to go back and see some of these testimonials or things that people have written. And I told you it was going to be kind of a wild card Wednesday. This guy says, "I first attended Pip's training in November 2013. It was the first time I learned about real estate investing. Pip was really funny and friendly. He made the boring topic," I love that. "He made the boring topic much more interesting and engaging." Think about that. "I can see most of the people in the training was enjoying it. He also talked to us one-on-one before and after the training and during breaks. So we got the opportunity to ask questions and get to know him better. His training is a combination of knowledge, motivation." That was exactly what I needed at the time. I started applying what I learned after the first day of training and got a load before the second day ended. After the training, I kept doing and the thing I learned from the training and Dylan, English is not his first language. I learned from the training whenever I email Pip for question or additional support, he's always there. That really blew my mind. How did he manage to respond to all the emails so quickly, sometimes within minutes? Thanks to his training, I quit my job 2 months later and never looked back. Dylan Lynn, Vancouver. And so when somebody says sales is hard or it's different in other countries, I have had the opportunity to teach in places like Singapore and Hong Kong and Japan and all over Europe and all kinds of Hispanic groups of people and you name the ethnic group of people. I've taught many different groups, and sales is the same everywhere you go because if you do this, and Carolina, I'm going to go back to you asked the question what it's going to be all about. It's that right there, the 3 L's: listen, lead, and link. If we can listen to our customers, lead them where they need to go, and then link whatever our product is to that, You can sell anything all day long. And obviously the part that we always want to get back to is follow up. So we're going to be doing all that kind of stuff and talking about that over the course of those 3 days. And there'll be opportunities if you want to go to a mastermind after that. I want to get a group of people in a mastermind and take them to a whole nother level. I've done a ton of training and done a ton of support. But what I haven't got to do is take a group of people, whether that's 8, 10, 15, 20, and then work with them in a small group for 6 months or so. And that's really what the goal of this of our first mastermind, or our first training and going to our mastermind is going to be. So I'm going to say this again, just a couple more things to tell you. Please, once again, Friday afternoon, 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern, I'm going to do a webinar with Lee Moore and Elizabeth Kelly. Please be on that if you can. If you don't know how to get on there, it'll be on my Facebook page somewhere. I'm also going to put a post. Actually, I'm going to have my wife help me. Hopefully because I probably will do it wrong. I sent an email out to a bunch of people yesterday. And I know some of the people said it went to their spam folder. Some people said they haven't got it yet. So I'm going to put a post on my Facebook page. And if I don't have your email, or I don't have the right email, if you're interested in more information about the training on the 23rd, 24th, 25th of October, just private message me your email and I'll send you everything about it. And you can make a decision if that's something you want to go to. It'll be on my Facebook page as well. Don't forget, share this video with as many people as you can. I totally appreciate being able to be on these and give some hopefully some value to everybody else. So now they're talking about the fire at the house I grew up in, actually. But it doesn't look like the house is going to be destroyed. I guess we don't know yet, but either way. So my wife and Christy are going back and forth on the chat box. That's beautiful. And so once again, thank you guys for being on here today. Like I said, please do me a favor. Most of you guys probably have an email from me. If you didn't get one, I'm going to put a post on my Facebook page or my Facebook wall, I guess, whichever it is. And then private message me your email, or check your junk folder or spam folder. I know I was talking to Matt or texted him earlier today, and he said that it went to his spam folder. So I don't know how all that works, and I know it's not a perfect system, but it's probably better than other types of advertising. So I will try to get that information out to you, Carolina, and everybody else. And so once again, share this video with anybody you can. Go do the YouTube. What do you call that? You don't sign up for YouTube. But you know, whatever you got to do. I feel like I just forget everything I'm supposed to say. Matt, maybe I'm the one drinking instead of you. Not really. I've got a soda, which is about my drink of choice. But I don't even know what else I was going to say. Thank you for your time tonight. I'm definitely going to end the day with what I always do, which is, we always need to be a little bit nicer to people. You always want to make sure you're building people up instead of building or knocking them down. I'm going to do Facebook Live again over the weekend because I got the Friday webinar. So probably my next Facebook Live will be Saturday or Sunday. So do me a favor, turn to somebody in your life, whether you know them or not, tell them they're going to be all right. You guys have a great evening, and we will see you this weekend. Check out the emails or check out the post, and I want to get your email so I can send you information. So have a great night, guys. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.